Games Workshop have finally created the perfect Leagues of Votan tank. The only problem is that it's not for Leagues of Votan and it's in resin. Now, I'm not being completely hyperbolic when I say that this is one of my favourite vehicles that Games Workshop has ever made. I love this. I mean, it's on the monitor right in front of me, and I keep looking at it. I love this thing. It is brilliant. It is perfect. I will not hear a word said against it. The only issue that I have is that this would be such a good vehicle for the Leagues of Votan, and I like it more than the vehicles that they actually have. But it's from Forge World, and it's resin, and it's for squats, not Leagues of Votan. Apart from that, 10 out of 10. This is the vehicle in question. This is the Scalvian Explorator, and I love this. I absolutely love it. I don't know what it's making me think of. I couldn't tell you why it seems somehow weirdly familiar, but I don't care about any of that. What I care about is the overall design, which I love. I love the kind of rounded shape on the pod at the front. The turret looks really, really cool with that kind of big floodlight on one side, and then you've got the, looks like a twin-linked heavy stubber or something on the other side. The setup where it looks like the tracks are kind of being hung off this sort of exoskeleton situation. Oh god, it's so good. It's so good. I really like the track design. There's little things like kind of icons on the side of the tracks. There's like a little sort of carving on that kind of exploring pod on the front of the vehicle, the big claw that's hanging off, all the different like tubes and cables that are lying around. Oh, I just can't get enough of this thing. They've done such a good job with this. It's so good. It's so good. It looks like a mix of like exploratory vehicle and industrial machine. It looks really heavy duty, but at the same time you can see a lot of like all the mechanical parts that are going on. It doesn't look particularly heavy armoured, but it also looks like it's capable of withstanding a lot of punishment at the same time. I just really think they've nailed it. I think they've absolutely nailed it with this. Just like my armoured company for the Imperial Guard, I could totally see myself making a ridiculous list containing a bunch of these and then making them look different because, it's just hitting the spot in so many ways I can't even describe. I hold the Baneblade and the Land Raider in like my top tier list of vehicles that Games Workshop makes. I think in terms of like widely available models, those are the two absolute favourites for me. I will say there's also things like, the Marcador Infernus and stuff that I really like, but are difficult to get hold of. This is, like, it's immediately shot really close to the top of the list, but it's resin, and it's Forge World, and that means it's going to be horrifically expensive, and it makes me so sad, because it's so cool, and I don't want to pay £200 for this. Truth be told, I don't even know if that's how much it'll cost. It might be hilariously, remarkably cheap for a Forge World product. It's not going to be. It's not going to be that. It's not going to be remarkably cheap. It's going to be really goddamn expensive, and that's what makes me unhappy about it. But I tell you what, if this was the vehicle for the Leagues of Votan, and not for the squats in Necromunda, I would be absolutely over the moon with that. I would have been way more on board with that than I am with the current vehicles. It just does so much more for me, They've not just shown off that incredibly fancy and really cool tank, though. There's also 2 new bounty hunters on the way for these squats, and one of them has got a little robot friend, and that immediately makes him awesome. This is Orin. He's a house agent, and look at his little Techmite excavator. I tried to say excavator, but that's not what it's called. That's a confusing word to read like that. The lad's fine. Look at the little fella. Look at the wheels. Look at the wheels. He's got like a little track sort of thing. Big wheel on the back. You can see the chains powering it, and then these little legs with little. Oh, it's so good. The Techmite stuff that they've shown off so far. I just want a full Necromunda gang of just Techmites. Leave the squats at home. The squats can just stay. Not fussed about the squats. The little Techmites, though. This is like the second or third Techmite we've seen. They are universally adorable, brilliant, the best models ever made. That last one isn't true, but I still really like them. I love that little lad right there. He is class, and I want it. And if he was available separately, I would 100% go for it. Although, to be fair, Orin himself is also kind of awesome. really over the top. Like, the massive pipes going into the armour, the sheer number of cables and tubes and wires going into his gun is staggering. To be honest, at a glance, he looks a bit more like... If it wasn't for the sci-fi nature of the gun and the fact he's got like a mecha dendrite over to one side, he kind of looks quite Caradron to me. That's not necessarily a bad thing though, because I love that range, so it's fine. But the big pipe that he's got, all those cables going into the kind of neck area of his armour and then sort of spreading all around the chest, it's really wild. It's really over the top. It's a weird looking model, but I really like it. It kind of looks like everything he has is just going into this Giganto gun that he's, of course, holding with one hand while smoking a pipe. I like it a lot, but man, that's busy. I do very much appreciate the back view on the Tech-Mite, so we can see that big central wheel at the back powered by the two chain. I love that. That's so good. And the fact that we can see the power pack that Orin has got, which I love how... One side looks relatively stable and normal. The other one looks like it's bulging out and breaking. Now, I don't know whether it actually is or whether it's just a slightly different shape on one side, but it really looks like there's pressure building there. There's pressure building, and not necessarily in a good way, you know? But it does kind of fit with the massive cables and power and stuff that's going through the armor into that gun. So, I don't know, I quite like it. Along with Orin is Urson, who is a sniper by the look of things. I mean, pretty easy to tell, isn't it? That he's more of a long-range lad. And he has a Tech-Mite Oculator, I think it was? Oculi, Tech-Mite Oculi. Absolutely, absolutely class again. The little it looks like a little dragonfly without wings, actually. Little carapace with the fans in the top, little turbines. Really like that. A lot more simple, it looks like, than the other Tech-Mites so far, but still adorable. Still extremely adorable. And it looks like he's got a couple, because there's one in his power pack as well. I like the design of the rifle. I like that he too has got a pipe, although his is in the design of like a trash can. What a choice. I'm loving it, but what a choice. I like the detail of the scanner in his other hand. That's cool. And I like the way they've painted the little Tech-Mite Oculi there with the little jets, the little blue jets coming out the bottom. Yeah, I like that a lot. These two look decent. They're a good-looking couple of bounty hunters. He's obviously a lot less complicated than his brother, but he still looks good. The only problem is I just keep coming back to this. And I love it. I just love it. Unapologetically. I want it now. But... oh, it's resin. Why is it resin? Why? Once again, Necromunda does not disappoint. The only disappointing thing is the material. Everything else about it, 10 out of 10, first class, would 100% own a bunch if they weren't going to be prohibitively expensive, which is what they're going to be. Which is the only thing that I don't like about it. It's what it's going to cost. Then again, I feel like that happens fairly frequently with Games Workshop as a whole anyway. So is it really any different this time round? I don't know that it is. Let me know what you think of those three in the comments down below. Do you too wish that the Leagues of Votan simply had those Explorators as their tanks? Would you end up with a bunch of them if they did? Let me know what you think. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video, YouTube members. If you like this shirt, which is a cool shirt, then there's a link where you could buy that in the description as well. It's an affiliate link. It's 10% off if you use it. Take a look. You might see something you like. And that is about it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.